Good afternoon, Postal family. How's everybody doing? My name is Syed. Welcome back to my channel. What's going on this beautiful Thursday? Thursday's edition. Welcome back to my channel. What's happening? Today what I'm discussing, going into a deeper dive into the negotiations our NALC leaders are doing right now on behalf of the carrier base. A little bit look at some other details, what is being discussed for the betterment of the carrier craft, and general topics, what's going on behind closed doors, how it's going to affect us, and all that good stuff. But first, if you're new to the channel, my name is Syed. Postal content is what I do, love to do. Thanks everybody for all the support. I can't thank you guys enough. Keep giving me the thumbs up, smash that hype button. Thanks to all you guys, everything you guys share in the comments. I love them comments, guys. I always say that, and I dearly mean it. You guys take your time to put a comment in. Really appreciate it. That perspective I get of all of you throughout the country, different parts of the country, what your individual stations are going through is really awesome reading all that. Keep it going. Any questions you may have, shoot them on there. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, guys. Another thing, first and foremost, everything I say on here is from my views, my research. I don't speak on behalf of USPS Post Office in any of my videos. So, a little bit further details. First is a recap, then we'll get into the newer stuff that, got a hold of that's being discussed. Several significant developments. NALC members as of early May 26. The contract negotiations expanded financial shifts at agency level. Negotiations, we know formal negotiations, next national agreement are ongoing. The current contract is set to expire later this month on the 22nd. I did mention November. Somebody had mentioned in one of my videos, I had mentioned November. This is May 22 when it officially ends, but on paper is actually it goes till November. So I gotta get to the bottom of that difference in that topic. So, collective bargaining. NALC has scheduled a national conference. We know it's coming June 1st through 3rd. A lot of you mentioned that's just a chill for all of the leaders. It is what it is. Hopefully, something to discuss for our betterment. So, cost of living adjustments. We know. Under the current, the 6th COLA became effective 2 months ago in March. 7th and final COLA of this cycle projected for September of this year. Through the exact amount will depend on the CPIW data through July. First contribution suspension. We know USPS is not contributing towards our retirement. Their part only. Our parts is still coming, going into first. Price adjustments, 8% increase on competitive products. We know priority mail, ground advantage. Protecting mail-in ballots. Renfro recently testified at a House field hearing regarding the protection of mail-in ballots. He emphasized the Postal Service's strictly operational role in democracy and pushback against legislative attempts that could complicate the delivery process. New appointments. President Renfro has appointed John Robles as the National Business Agent NBA for Region 4 and Alan Rios for Region 1, following recent retirements in those positions. Letter carriers stamp out hunger. We know I mentioned on every video coming up in 2 days on Saturday. There's a goal, 50,000 they're looking for. Something 50 billion, I think, pounds of food. I don't know how that works out, but maybe I could be saying something wrong. That's what they're targeting this time around. Deadline for registration housing for the upcoming national convention is fast approaching. Different thing, cash crunch first, suspension, we know. Contract countdown, it ends later this month on the 22nd. Stamp out hunger, we discussed. Sorting and delivery SNDC. USPS just announced 14 new SNDCs opening between now and July. SNDCs, it's basically giving carriers extra headache. I don't know why they keep opening these newer ones. it's more of a package mindset when this was created, consolidating 10 or 12 stations into one SNDC. That's bad for management too, but it takes away all those managers in the surrounding stations, and the main SNDC is not going to need all of them, so they're looking to save money in a sense that way too. But in the end, it ends up costing them more because carriers are going further out and to their routes, so that means more time, more OT. So I don't know how it makes any sense in our line of work. I mean, in the package delivery it might, but for us, I don't know how it works. Transition local post office to these larger hubs. We talk about the commute time. Specific cities like Miami or Phoenix that are going live in June to see if any of your with the current contract set to expire, we know on the 22nd. Structural changes to craft that go beyond the standard percentage rates. NALC leadership has presented over 6 dozen proposals so far. Here are the specific high priority inside items currently on the table. The single pay table push. Discuss this in a lot of my videos, so it's a very important topic right now. Biggest goal for the union is the elimination of two-tier pay system. A lot of you also mentioned this is not going to happen. You have your reasons. I respect that, how you mentioned that. And a lot of you mentioned the other way. It is going to happen, and on the positive note, but we don't know. We don't know what's actually is going to come out of this thing. We can just hope and pray. What the goal for this is: moving back to a single pay table so that the newer carriers, table 2, aren't permanently earning significantly less than those hired before 2013 for doing the same work. Because anyone before 2013 is on the older table, which they went to top pay a lot sooner than when the table 2 was created after the CCA position was inserted. So it takes longer if you're on table 2 like I am to reach the top. So a lot of fights are going on about. Detail: the union is pushing to reduce the time it takes to reach the top step. Yes, indeed. Currently, it takes 13 and a half years. NALC warns that slash significantly, potentially to 8 years or less, to match other similar industries. You're not matching with 8. UPS is 4 years to the top, so I don't know how much less you can go, but the 13 is just beyond ridiculous with the cost of living and everything. These two topics gotta change. One table and the time it takes to get to top pay. All career workforce. This is a highly important matter to eliminating the CCA position. There's a massive push to transition to an all career workforce. What the proposal on the table is: NALC is negotiating to eliminate the city carrier assistant CCA role entirely, or at least create a much faster automated path to career status. PTF, part-time flexible upon hiring. So basically, once you're hired, you come in as a PTF, so you get a little bit of the benefits, more incentive to stay, because the turnover right now is it's gigantic. And I see why. Times are really tough right now. When you come in as a CCA, you don't get benefits, and you gotta work those 2 years or whatever, how long it differentiates between where you are as a CCA. So the incentive is way less for anyone to stay to become regular. So this is going to be huge if they can pull this through. You come in as a PTF, you already got some career benefits, and you want to stay because you're already being hired as a PTF, so that gives you more incentive. Why it matters: this is being framed as the only way to solve the current staffing crisis. As the UPS is struggling to retain non-career employees, there it is, due to the lack of immediate benefits I just mentioned, and predictable schedules. That's huge. Predictable schedules. I see it all the time. I mean, in my time too, years ago. So, you come in as a CCA daily. I'm just going to talk from my experience. I used to ask my supervisor, my manager, what day off am I this week, And this went on for every week until, you became regular. So you don't have a set schedule. You want something set as a PTF, at least you have those benefits. So, but this is really a big topic. Obviously, USPS is looking at the drop-off rate of CCAs. They find something better, they go. A lot of industries are matching the pay now. So what is UPS hiring for this individual to stay on board than to go away, Immediate benefits. PTFs get a little bit more benefits, so that gives them, like I said, incentive to stay. Substantial front-loaded wage increases. Instead of the standard 1.1 or 1.3 annual increases, the union is arguing for a substantial general wage increase that accounts for the physicality gap. This is a huge one. NALC is explicitly arguing that carrier work has become more physically demanding with the increase in parcel volume and that the wages haven't kept pace with the intensity of the job. Very good. That is awesome. Hopefully these ideas are good and hopefully someone can get them done and get them passed. This is a solid one. Physicality has changed with package volume. Yes, hazard compensation. Another big one. New language is being discussed regarding the street risk carriers face, specifically focusing on extreme heat and the increasing threat of robberies, assaults on the job. Yes, these two are huge. A lot of the stations like myself, still in the LLVs, it gets hot in the summer and if you're not properly hydrated, it's really tough. We've lost a lot of carriers in the last few years, recent years. I think last year there was a story, there was a check ride supervisor, did the check ride, it was extreme heat, I think midsummer. She got back to the station, passed out in the restroom, never woke up. So God rest her soul. That supervisor, obviously the supervisors have a certain time limit. They got to do their check rides in the station. So at that time it was midsummer, over 100 degrees, and behind in the LLV it gets even more, 105 with very humidity. Oh man, so this is some changes need to be made for us to go through that. Increase the pay, hazard compensation, exactly what the word says. Uniform allowance and technology. Uniforms. There's a proposal to overhaul the uniform program, including significantly increasing the allowance and addressing the exorbitant costs charged by current vendors. Nowadays, with that $500 limit, 2 or 3 items, a set of pants, a shirt, and the socks, that's it. Your whole balance is gone. So this is a good one. All the carriers need that increase. Carriers definitely need that increase. $500. Like I said, 2 or 3 things are each thing is over $200. And so few things and your balance is done. And you have to keep wearing your older stuff from previous years. It shouldn't be that way. So this is a very good one. Uniform allowance is another huge one that needs to go up. Scanner data. The union is fighting for stricter limits on how management can use scanner data. Breadth of travel and load tool data for disciplinary purposes, arguing it should be used for safety and logistics only. This is another huge one. This topic is, always there. Our scanner data is being used against us. It should, like it says, be used only for safety and logistics. But they're holding us accountable solely based on scanner data. And some employees are being disciplined on that. Like if you didn't meet your certain, whatever your scanner says, how they go based on numbers. So they're holding disciplinary actions, and obviously stewards are writing those grievances, so it worked its way up to the NALC negotiations table, which is good. Safety, the heat standard. Following several high-profile heat-related tragedies, NALC is negotiating for contractual mandated heat safety protocols. The detail, this would move heat stress training from a suggestion to a requirement, with specific cooling down periods and comfort stops written directly into the contract language, so management cannot pressure carriers to skip them. This is awesome, man. Props for this one. Well, all the topics are props. God willing, all of them go through. In a perfect world, they all would go through, and carriers would be really happy with the top pay and all the things that I've just mentioned. It would be awesome. So, what they're saying, let's see the detail. This would move heat stress, like I said, suggestion to a requirement. Specific cooling down, so managers cannot pressure carriers to skip them. So those breaks, those cool down breaks will be worked into the schedule. So, because in the summer you can take extra cool down breaks, not just your 2 10 minutes and the 1/2 hour. In the summer, if you need to cool down, you can take those breaks. With this contract, they won't be able to, tell us, hold us accountable, or discipline us on those. What's going on next? What happens next? If a tentative agreement isn't reached by May 22nd, which is just a few weeks away, the parties will likely enter a prolonged period of mediation before heading to interest arbitration. We can't depend on arbitration either. It didn't work out for us last time around. So the June 1st through 3rd collective bargaining in DC is when the branch presidents will get the real update on which of these items the USPS is digging their heels on. So lots of good stuff I just mentioned in the negotiations for the carriers right now. A lot of good stuff. We just look forward to what's gonna pass through for the carrier base or whatnot. So that's what we're looking at as far as carriers. A lot of things going on. As we know, different topics being discussed. A lot of good stuff for the carrier base. Renfro is doing his thing. Mr. Renfro. I just, don't want to call him Renfro anymore, but just, a lot of you mentioned in the comments as well. Renfro is just, he's been a fraud to us. You can't help it. This guy, when you get raises, 600 days negotiations, and you get nothing but 1.3, 1.2, what is a person supposed to mention? I mean, how did you pass? You just can't say those things. So lots of good stuff on here being negotiated, and we'll see. Like I said, we're praying on everything being passed, raises for the carriers, and in a perfect world, all the stuff I just mentioned will pass, and it will be negotiated. And the main ones, of course, is the two tables, put them into one, because like I always say, it's not fair for somebody hired after 2013 takes them longer to reach top pay, in difference to if you're hired before 2013, you're already been there. So that is a little bit of a difference right there. Carriers deserve to, both. If you're hired even after 2013, you need that fair time to get to the top pay. So different things. Uniform we mentioned. Hopefully that goes through. Like I said, 2 or 3 things. You reach your $500 limit. And hazard compensation. We risk our lives on our routes every day. Heat, robberies. So we deserve a hazard compensation for that. So we'll see. Wage increases, all good stuff. We'll see what happens as the negotiations keep going through. I'll keep tabs on everything, as you know I do. And we're praying for the best for the carrier base. Nothing against all the other brands. I cover Postal family, mail handlers, clerks, truck drivers. Much respect to all of them. Respect what you all do, your hard work. May you all get your fair pay as well, with your negotiations ongoing as well. I pray for that too. At the end of the day, it's a total Postal family. One craft or the other, we're wearing all Postal blue, right? So clerks, window clerks, I appreciate all of you guys. In our stations, we get to know all the clerks too, so they're our Postal family too. All the jokes with them, and much respect to all of them, what they do. It's not easy at all on that window, dealing with rough customers sometimes, yelling, "Where's my package?" So all that good stuff. Thanks everybody for all the support. I can't thank you guys enough. It's been a good video. Brought out some good topics, and we'll continue as the time goes. We'll see what happens. As you know, we're waiting for the bailout from the government. See what kind of bailout they give us. They're busy with other things right now, so hopefully the other things stop and they can concentrate on us. So that's it. Until next time, please take care of yourselves. The temperatures are rising. Stay cool. Increase those ice bottles. I think this coming week, even where I'm at, it's going to be close to 90. So get them ice bottles ready, cooling stuff, whatever you have, those fans with the water mist coming through, the newer stuff. So anything you can get to cool down out there, as we're just getting started in the summer. We'll see. That's it, guys. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, MailmanSyed out. Take care.